What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? It's your host, Ghost here, joined with,
Specialist.
and you are
How's it
watching the
going?
Tough Shit Podcast, the only podcast where we speak our mind. If you don't like it, well,
Shit.
exactly. So we've been waiting. It's been like 2 weeks now since our last podcast. The last podcast we did for this channel was the election special, where we told people to go out there and vote, and to represent who they wanted to. Now, it is after Election Day. We still have no idea who our president is. This is the longest election process I've ever seen myself personally in this whole country. I mean, we had the same thing with George Bush and Al Gore a little bit with Florida, where they went to legal battles and all that, but nothing as grandiose as what's going on right now, with there being over 30 states having issues in voting. Um, Many of the states finding votes after election day, which makes no sense. Problems in the postal service where they're taking where they were taking votes that shouldn't be accepted, and they were switching the labels to make them to where they were dates where they could be accepted. So they were doing that as well. Um, and this is our election. This is what we call fair process of picking our leaders here in America. How do you feel about that?
Well, this is what our country's become as far as the integrity. Because you've got something that could have happened about 30 or 40 years ago, and if it got brought out to the light like it has, that runner up would have been arrested.
Yeah,
There would be, oh, he just cheated a little bit, it's okay. It's all the way through. The
hmm
man didn't go anywhere. He didn't go to many rallies. All his supporters stayed home, which is fine. But
yeah.
you mean it's the
Uh,
highest like
Right. Well, his main advantage was mail-in voting. The problem with Trump there was Trump told everybody not to mail in vote. And when you tell your people not to mail in vote, you can't expect you to get a lot of votes in the mail. You know what I'm saying? So his thing was he was waiting on these states to get their mail-in votes, and Trump was like, well, maybe I'll have half those votes and I'll still be in the lead. But what had happened was he told his voters not to vote in the mail. So barely any Trump voters voted in the mail. So a majority of those mail-in votes were Biden. Once again, this is the biggest year for mail-in votes as well because of COVID. And it's also another thing that's very sketchy in American voting policy, I would say. Because mail-in votes, they sit there for weeks. They come in and they go in a warehouse and they sit there for weeks. Okay. And who knows? Anybody can get in there, throw the ones away they don't want. Uh, Nobody knows. You know what I mean? It's like any other job where people are like, well, that shouldn't happen at that job. Well, it does. And it's just stuff happens like that. Like, I work at Kroger's. Okay. Let's say, like, people be like, do employees ever steal stuff or whatever? Yes, it happens all the time. Employees will steal stuff, get caught, and get in trouble. That's nothing we can do to stop it. That's always going to be something that happens. You know what I'm saying? That's another problem with our voting systems is we know there's flaws, but we don't do anything to combat them. We just let them go, and we
well
act like it's okay.
realistically. Those votes should not have hit but one post office. They shouldn't have been left there. Granted, even if you fast tracked everything to where it was supposed to go, which was the original plan, they were supposed to fast track those votes to the ballots.
Right.
However, it didn't happen. Be that outside influence, maybe it was the post office itself, somebody hated Trump or somebody hated Biden, and they didn't send them till after. Who knows? But it's just odd that it's happened everywhere. It's not just one state. It's
Right.
everywhere. You
Every
can't just
swing state,
oh,
there's like
just
over 30 states,
under the rug. You can't brush
over
it under the rug. Something
over
that
30 states out of 50 states had issues with counting ballots this year.
Right.
That's ridiculous, America.
A revote. Now, I'm not saying that. At this point, I'm biased. I don't care who wins because it really doesn't make a damn bit of difference. But when
Right.
it's not something that everyone's behind. Granted, now if it was a fair vote, we knew the ballots got where they were supposed to go. I could say, all right, well, fuck, it happened. It is what it is. But you don't know if
Right.
they got
Well, let's break
uh,
it down this way. Let's just take it back to the 4-year circus that we just went through. That we're supposed to put our faith into these people. We literally just went through Trump being called a Russian with nothing, no proof, no evidence. That was like 2 years of that, of nothing, a waste of time and millions of taxpayer dollars for nothing. Top of that, we got him impeached for saying something about Ukraine. Um, he can say whatever he wants. For one, he's the president of the United States. You they didn't get him on anything with it. They impeached him for it. He's still in office. Nothing happened there. Nothing legally happened there. It was just for show. And then these are the same people that tell us Biden won in a landslide. It's crazy. We've never seen something like this. Like that's the thing that blows my mind is like these people have cried wolf for the past 4 years and you're still believing them. Like that's what I don't understand about the American system in general.
No, I agree. I do agree with you there because
It's
it's
a
so
mess,
flawed.
man.
The system is flawed. It's not. It's beyond a mess. It's been a mess for years, but now it's got to the point where they know no one's going to do anything. So
Right.
they don't care if it comes out in the open. Like the whole Watergate scandal, like that was a big fucking thing
Back in
back
the day,
then.
yeah, but this
Back,
happens nowadays. It's nothing.
it's happening now.
It happened to Trump.
Yeah. So you've got that. That just it goes to say that the people of the United States either are too scared to do something or too stupid. One of the two.
Actually,
People,
I'm going to go on a third option here. I'm going to go with a third option. Third option being people are altering good or bad situations, no matter which way it goes, to influence what they see the future being. I don't know
say,
who's doing the influencing, but
problem.
somebody other than our leaders is doing the
Social
influencing.
media. It is. It's the social media. You
Yeah,
can't even say when coronavirus first came out. You couldn't even say it on YouTube.
yeah, without getting monetized.
Back to the censorship thing. You can scare people and threaten their income if they're YouTubers. You
Hmm.
know, like that's their main source of income, and that's a hot word you can't say. You're threatening somebody's livelihood because they can't speak their mind. This is how people hear the truth.
Right. Yeah, this is how Americans get their points across to our government and hope that they make changes.
Not
But when
even
your government's playing a game of pick and choose, then there's no point. And that's the other point I was going to get to was people say that election fraud is nothing new. Um, we unfortunately America has been meddling in election frauds from other countries for years since probably the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. We probably influenced elections across the whole world, Africa, Russia. I'm sure we've influenced Germany, all these other countries. Um, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, those elections aren't fair either. None of them. None of them are fair. Because what happens is these leaders come to the American government, the CIA, the FBI. I believe it's the CIA who makes all the voting machines for the whole world.
no, the CIA does all foreign, and then the federal government, which is the FBI, does everything in state or
Okay.
in the U.S. So the CIA does handle a lot of the outgoing issues. Now, I don't. I none of us know what they really do. out there. That's kind of the point of being a counter
Intelligence, yeah.
agency. It is an intelligence agency in general that they deal in dirty secrets. It's what they do. So,
Right.
I mean,
And that's the other thing is if our people are doing this to other countries, why would they not? Like if I was Biden and I'm like, okay, these guys clearly influence elections around the world. Screw the voting process, screw the rallies. I'm going to talk to the head of the CIA because I'm friends with him and we're going to make this thing a win. You know what I'm saying? Something as simple as that could change the whole election.
well, it's something as simple as bribing a official that works at the fucking post office. It's not that
Yeah.
hard, especially if it comes from money. I mean, the guy's had money since he was since before he was born. His family was rich.
Right.
It's what's a couple $1,000,000 is a bribe. I mean, it doesn't take much to bribe somebody who makes 15 an hour.
Well,
So
and
use
then
dollars, get rid of those ballots.
and the other thing is that everything they hated about Trump, Biden is the exact like Biden has everything that they hated about Trump in Biden. Besides the rage and the social media. But Biden is the almost the same type of president. He almost will be. Because look at this. They both have the same views when it comes to foreign policy. Almost the exact same views. The only difference is abortion laws, which I'm not going to say anything because I'm not a female. I have no right to say anything about abortion laws. That's just me. I mean, if you're female, then maybe you have rights to say about it, but I don't have a baby, so I have nothing to say about it. I mean, I just drop the sperm and that's it. That's my job. That's but yeah, that's it. I mean, they're like they have the same policies. They're the same person. Like they have very much the same mentality of push and help America. Like I'm not gonna lie, Biden is a patriot. How much of a true patriot he is, that's what needs to be determined because a lot of Democrats are patriots and have a lot of their hands in Big Money's pocket. So we'll see how well that actually comes to fruition. And what I was saying, but the other thing was like they got mad at him for Ukraine and Russia, Trump. But then you got Biden over here who deals with uh, God, what is that one company? His son's dealt with. I forgot what country he's in though. But it's another country that his son was working in, making millions of dollars because Biden was the vice president, and Biden was getting a cut of that. And I'm like, how are you gonna be mad at Trump for selling property in Russian land, but you're not gonna be mad at Biden for literally taking a cake of a dirty deal, and you're just gonna overlook that? It's the same exact crime. There's no difference in the crime.
Well, look, I've been under the impression that your opinion, my opinion, the general opinion of the people doesn't really matter
Right.
anymore. And I do believe that. I mean, the influential people are already paid off. The people
Yeah.
that could rally are paid off. I mean, what do you can't compete with somebody like that that's already pretty much got their tendrils into every single form of government in
Right.
every your life. I mean,
And then and there's also it's not just the government as well, but the voters on both sides are getting to an all-time ridiculous point, guys. Okay, I'm gonna say this first off. First off, right off the bat, I know a lot of people that love Trump no matter what he does. Sorry, guys, Trump is not perfect. Trump is not even a good human being. In all honesty, morally, he's not a good human being. Okay, he's a good American. He helped the American people, but when it comes to being a good human being, that's not Donald Trump. He would like walk past a poor person and not care. He's not the type who would give a poor person $1. You know what I mean? That's not him. Same thing with Biden. He seems like a nice guy, cool guy. He tries to play off like the cool guy, the cool president. He's the same way. He's a snot nose, lift your head in the sky, everyone's below me type of politician. They all are. No politician that these people are praising like they're Jesus Christ gives two shits about him. That's just what I'm going to say right there, right now. So if you're over here saying like Trump's amazing, he's like a god, I love Trump, everything he does, blah, blah, blah. Or I love Biden, Biden's so amazing, blah, 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 this and that. No, neither of them are good. They're politicians, guys. Let's remember that at the back of your mind. Remember, they're all lying sacks of shit that just want your tax money, and that's it, and your vote. That's all they want. They don't care about you. They don't care about your family. They care about their family and themselves and making a couple $1,000,000 to go home and live a nice life and come to work, do 4 hours of work and then go home. All right. That's the type of job they're looking for. That's what everyone needs to remember is because people are getting rallied around these people thinking they're real people and they're not. It's all show.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever met one politician who was even close to being real. Even like Pete Buttigieg, I met him in real life, and I was like, oh, he seems like a pretty cool guy. Dude gets up on stage, and like everything he just told you in a private conversation was bullshit because he just starts going the opposite direction. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's when I knew I was like, yeah, I'm never trusting any politicians ever with anything because they'll
Well, I can't say I've ever met a politician before because I try to steer away from them, but you can tell. I mean, you don't project, oh, I'm doing all these wonderful things for people. If you
right,
really truly mean it, it shouldn't be a big deal. You shouldn't need somebody else's approval. That's who you are.
right,
If I have a president that doesn't fucking, or any politician that doesn't project some form of like a god syndrome and he's not always out there, oh, I'm feeding people in the soup kitchen, this and that, with cameras
right,
following. All right, if I don't see that, I'm like, he's either a really bad person or a really good person, but he doesn't try to fucking hide it and
right.
cover it. You know, like either way, I can respect you for just being honest in yourself instead of trying to fucking lie and pretend you're something you're not, which is what a politician is. It's
Yep.
exactly what it is.
It's a
So
wolf in sheep's clothing. That's all it is. It's a high touty person trying to look like a normal person like you and me, and get your vote. That's all they are. Just that's what I just want people to remember because everyone forgets that, and everyone gets in this red or blue Democrat or Republican side, and I'm like, you guys, you can't argue what's better, diarrhea or shit. They both are crap. You don't want either of them. You know what I mean? You can't argue that point.
yeah,
And that's what I try to get to people, and they just don't understand. They're like, "Oh, I have I have my ways with this one for a reason." No, you don't. You have your ways because they made you think you have your ways. They are so good at manipulating you that you don't even know you're being manipulated right now. Like that's how well.
it's not hard to know. I mean, you sit there and look at those fucking infomercials. They're on every single. They're still. If I
Running.
try to watch a video or look at the news, there's like 6 fucking either a Trump or a Biden healthcare thing. It's still fucking on there, and it's pissing me off because it's over.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck. I don't care. I do not care about your health plan because it's gonna fall through the moment you go in the office. All
Yep.
the shit you said was gonna happen, you might change 2 fucking things in the office, and
Well,
that's
and
it.
it's going to be the same situation that Trump was in because it's going to be Biden who's Democrat, the House is going to be Republican, and then the Senate is going to be Republican. So he's not going to get anything done, just like Trump didn't get anything done for 4 years because they're going to fight. It's going to be the same 4 years that we just went through, but opposite.
Yeah. Not to mention all these fucking idiots. Like, look, I get, I, I get that you're frustrated with the way the world is, but listen, it doesn't matter how much you want it to be different. It's not going to be different. And if you keep trying to fucking riot and do all this bullshit
Mhm.
because you're unhappy, you're just making the world worse.
Well,
If
it's
you want to change it, go about the proper channels and quit
right.
fucking people's worlds up because you are
Yes.
fucking the normal person's day up. I am so fucking tired of it. It's so immature. It's a bunch of college kids. Those are the fucking future. Those are the people that are going to be in office. Just remember that.
Mhm.
Those fuckers are going to be sitting there running for president just like fucking Trump, just like Biden.
Yep.
It's a fucking circle because I guarantee you they were in the same boat about 50 years ago.
Hmm.
This-
I agree, man. It's both sides too. Like Biden, like you said, whenever they had that Black Lives Matter, they were out there with the Democrats writing. Then now that Trump didn't supposedly win, now you got all the Trump people out there writing. And I'm like, guys, really, come on. And then that's the other thing. The Trump people were all mad about everyone else rioting, and then as soon as Trump doesn't get in the office, they go to Washington and start rioting.
yeah,
And I'm like, what? It doesn't
no,
make any sense.
it's just people that are bored. This whole fucking pandemic, this whole year, has not helped it. And
No.
that's people are literally going ape shit in their houses.
Yep.
And
I agree with that.
it's not that big of a deal.
Yep.
Look, life hasn't changed. We're still going to work because that got lifted. You have to wear a mask. I
Yep.
fucking hate masks.
Yeah, so do I.
God, I fucking wear it.
Yep.
All right, it is what it is. But like, it's over. The hype is over. This whole fucking thing's gonna disappear because the elections are over. That's what this was all
Well,
about.
see, here's the problem with Biden though. With Biden in office, I think we'll have to wear masks for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
I think so with Biden because
Look,
he's so scared and well, he's older, so that puts fear in him, and that's gonna make him scared of people dying and all that.
look, it's gonna happen. If people are gonna die from it, which once again, I've yet to know somebody who's died from it.
Personally, yeah, yeah,
But I even look. I see all these numbers of like 200,000 infected, and then there's nothing else.
but yeah.
Yeah.
My mom, Austin, and Dad had it last week. They all three had it last week. They were down. They coughed. It was like a flu, and now it's gone. I never got it though. I was lucky. So
Before it got big, like before it got really bad, and people started saying shit. One of the guys at work came in when I was working a paint booth, and then about a week later, I got a weird sore throat, started coughing. I got sick as fuck for 3 days. I slept it off, and I went to work. And I was fine. Nobody else got it at work.
right.
So, I mean, it's just
It's
like
just a hard. It's a harder flu. It's just a strong. It's like a. The best way I describe it is a mix of the flu and pneumonia. If you got them both at the same time, that's exactly what it's like.
well, there's different strains. They do different things to your body, but from what I've seen, it's it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not.
Now,
It's not bad.
with it being a flu, or it affects your
Lungs.
yeah, older people and infants are at risk, which there should be proper precautions. You should
Yes.
not, unless if you've been tested, go into a medical ward.
Mhm.
And if you are infected with it and go to the hospital, you need to be isolated, which they do. Everything that they're doing right now, that's it. And the thing is, all these fucking reports are coming up because the hospital's making money off of every case. The government is paying them to take care of them. So
Yeah.
anybody that's contracted it, be it if they even went in there for it or not, or if they went in there with a fucked up hand and they suddenly got the coronavirus,
Right.
they're gonna say you have the coronavirus and
Right.
fucking make the money on it, keep you there, isolate you for 2 weeks, and even when you're better, you're still isolated for 2 weeks with people who are sick with the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I feel you. It's just it's a mess,
it,
man.
it's
And then,
gonna
well,
help.
here's the main problem that I've experienced with it personally is businesses. Like my job wanted me right back at work. I had
Yeah.
3 people infected at my house, and I work produce, and they wanted me straight back to work. Like that's the other problem, and that's just one company. Imagine all these companies around the world, how many of them are trying to keep their employees while they're sick or not? That's why
Well, look,
it's spreading.
they're paying people. What is it now? Like they're making like 600 on unemployment. Like it's still there.
Yeah.
About what you'd make. Well, more people make more on unemployment now than they do at work. So they're
Right.
gonna write it out. And then the people that want to work, like me, I find a job and I'm working 12-hour days because people don't want to show up. Which
Yeah.
like you're working. I mean, right now I've got a good schedule. I left my job because I was working 13, 14-hour days, driving an hour there and back,
Right.
and
Yeah. That's not even worth it.
so I'm like, this is fucking crazy. Like, and then they shut down really because China's not shipping anything over.
Yeah.
Regardless, everyone gets their shit from China.
Yeah.
Everyone gets their shit from them. So
Yep. All right, guys. I think. Well, actually, I gotta say one. We'll bring up one more thing before we wrap it up here. I'm gonna say this about the whole election thing. I think after this year, I think I'm done with being a Republican or a Democrat. I think I'm no longer gonna vote for either party. I'm being 100% serious. I think I'm gonna start going for the third party routes nowadays. Even if they won't win, I don't care because I'm not gonna give my vote to these two sides fighting anymore. It's just not worth it. All this is going to lead to is a second civil war. That's the only outcome that this leads to. If we can't come together and get a third party candidate that works for everybody or the majority of people, then it will go down this path year after year after, well, not every year, but 4 years, every 4 years until there is another civil war. And then at that point, it will be settled with whoever wins. So please stop doing this. Stop arguing. Stop being children um, about both sides. Can we just focus on the policies, the laws, the economy, the things that actually matter to people, taxes, you know? And can we stop worrying about, he called me a she and now I'm mad, or I've got boobs, so I'm entitled to this, or my skin's this color, so I owe this. That's not what we should be focusing on, people. But that's just my opinion. I'm just one lone white guy, one lone white straight male. So my opinion apparently doesn't matter in America at the moment. So, anything you want to add to that?
no, I think you hit the nail, man. Uh, you're right. I mean, this bullshit. We're past this.
Yeah.
We're so past this. We've been fighting over race and equality for so long.
Well, we're going backwards. We're not going forwards anymore. Now we're going back. We've stopped going forwards and now we're rolling the clock backwards. And I just don't like that. I think we should always move forwards.
Look, I get that there is racism,
Yes.
and I can't fucking stand it.
Yeah, me neither.
But the way we stop it is to stop fucking bickering about it. We've been doing it for, well, since America, before America was founded, we've been doing it.
Yeah.
And it didn't fucking work.
Yeah.
It's having all these fucking prejudices against each other. Admit that we all have our own talents, skills, things that we can bring to the table. And instead of fucking fighting and throwing somebody under the bus because you're a piece of shit or you're insecure about yourself, how about you utilize that other person and
Right.
stop fucking showing?
Or why does it have to be throw them under the bus anyway? You know what I mean? Why can't it be a teachable? That's the other thing is people forget about teachable moments. Like that was something I always had growing up with my mom and dad. Always there was always a teachable moment. Okay, if you made a mistake or you were mad or sad or whatever, it's you learn this as a kid. It's not done. It's a teachable moment. You look back on it, you saw what you did wrong, and you learn and you move forward. And we forget all about that. Like nobody does that anymore nowadays. We just throw them under the bus or like you said something, kill him. Like end of story. Like no, what do you You teach and you learn, and that's how society moves forward.
There's very few instances, they're few and far between, where you have fucked up so bad that you can't fix it. You
Right.
can't come back.
Yep.
So there are ways around it. I've fucked up plenty in my life.
Right.
So I mean,
We all
you
have.
got
We all make mistakes, but you just got to learn from them, and you got to move forward. You can't dwell on the mistakes and then hope it gets better by
ignore
castrating whoever said the thing or
or
did the thing.
just say fuck it. It's okay.
Like, well, imagine if you're at work and, like, let's say I put the wrong type of apple up or something, and they're like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Like, that ain't gonna happen. They're gonna be like, "Oh, hey, put these apples here, those apples there." You know what I'm saying? It's that simple. You don't have to get
Right.
mad. You don't have to rage. You don't have to force your opinion on others because of what you think. Just accept for who they are, accept for what you are, and then think of how you can connect the bridge. That's the best way to think of it. So that's my opinion on this podcast, guys. I was joined here today with Specialist.
Have a good night, guys.
You guys have a good night. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Leave your comments down below what you guys think of the election as well. I will be checking them out, good or bad. So please don't be too harsh on us. Like, once again, just two white males.
Hey,
Just two.
this podcast goes both ways. Feel like saying something you need to say, get it out there. Not saying it's gonna hurt our.
True that. True that. So just make sure you guys keep it right here on Laugh Your Brains Out, like, subscribe, share. And as always, keep it right here on the Tough Shit Podcast. I've been your host, Ghost, joined with
Specialist.
Adios, guys.
Adios.